Hello, 1, 2.
Okay, good evening. Has everybody scanned the code and signed in? You should scan this and it will give you a link to let you sign in. If you haven't done that, please do so. Those of you online can do the same thing as well, based on Mark's picture there. I'll leave this up for just a second or two more.
You need to move to the other side.
I need your heads in the way.
Yeah.
It's not connecting. Okay. If you haven't got it yet, we'll come back to it after we're finished here. We'll go ahead and start. Thank you, first of all, for everyone being here. This is the amateur radio or the auxiliary communications unit that will support the Oklahoma City Marathon on Saturday and Sunday, as we have done as hams for more than 20 years. At this point, I'm going to introduce Lynn Porter, who's with the Marathon. I'm going to let you do whatever you want to do here.
Okay, well, thank you guys all for being here today, and I'm sure a lot of you, how many have worked this event for years and years? So yeah, so most of you, and we really appreciate that. We would not be able to pull off the Memorial Marathon without all of your help. So if we could just, for a moment, just take a moment of to remember those who were killed, those who survived, and those changed forever. Thank you. So we had did a count today, and we have nearly 20,500 registered, and we anticipate that even going up a little higher. So over that whole weekend, we should have close to 22,000 people ready. And so that's great. On Saturday, we have the 5K kids and senior races, and on Sunday, the half full and relay. So, you know, we have over 3,000 volunteers that it takes to pull this off. We have all 50 states, runners from all 50 states, 14 different countries. We just got Ukraine and Spain in the last day or two. So that's really exciting. So people from all around the world are coming to do this. So I'm just going to, this is our 24th annual Memorial Marathon. So next year we are 25th. So we're excited about that. Started with a race with about 5,000 runners. So it's really grown. So we appreciate all that you have done to make that growth possible. So I'm going to hand it on over to you, but I'll be here all evening. So if you guys want to come by afterwards for the shirts, sorry, I got here and then I was like, oh, the shirts are not in my trunk. And so we will have the shirts for you, and I think Galen probably already gave you your credentials, so we're set on that. But I'll be here to answer any questions. But again, thank you for coming out tonight and for this weekend.
Thank you. Okay, I don't need this slide because that's what Lynn just talked about.
Great.
No, that's fine. No, it's much better to have you do it. There are the events that go on. There's some on Saturday, some on Sunday. And here's our taskings. So on Saturday, fairly small crew. We have just one ice and net or ice and water vehicle out, I believe is correct. Where's my net control? There you are. So just one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and it's Dave. And there's one medical station. And then we'll have 3 or 4 folks at the finish area for the kids race, which is a controlled environment. Lester, where are you at? Where's Lester?
I was just thinking, I don't think that's right.
He was here earlier. Okay. Lester Wheeler is kind of the lead on that. And then we have some others that are assigned on Saturday for the finishers corral that are here. Okay, there's one, Mike. Okay. If Lester comes in, I'll make sure and point it out, so you guys can get together. Sunday's a whole nother animal. Sunday, it's everybody. There's 16 medical stations along the route. There are, it says 5, we've only got 4 staffed ice and water delivery vehicles. We have net control separately for that. We have relay exchange places. There's 4 of those that we look for incoming runners to let their partner know that they're up shortly. Clay will be, wherever Clay is, I know he's here, there you go. We'll be in a trailing vehicle, so we know where the end of the race is, and that'll help our medical stations know when to demo. Although the first couple of stations, Mark and some of you guys are 1, 2, 3, and 4. He may not be out on the course yet because he's going to work a relay point until they're done. You are part of an organized communications unit. You see here on that we do have a communications section chief. That's John Love. He was here last year. Unfortunately, he's traveling right now, so he couldn't be here this evening. Under John, there's the public safety comms, which is being led this year by Chris Jenkins from IMSA. He was one of our state qualified communications unit leaders. He has an information technology leader who's an Oklahoma City person. And we have the auxiliary communications with me. Under that, you can see we have net control, lead coordination stations. This is all in the net. We have the ice and water folks on one net. And we have each of the relays. They are organized among themselves. Self-contained. The course is it exactly the same as last year?
Yes.
Wow, so the same as last year.
Sundays are awesome.
Okay. You can see the route. It starts downtown, moves up clear to Nichols Hills Village, and then comes back at the finish line. Is on Oklahoma City Boulevard at the north end of Citadel Park. If you need or wish a map, go to the marathon website and you can get all the maps you want. The runners all wear bibs, which have a number on them. This is last year's bib. This year, I'm sure, looks very similar. Has a runner's number on it. Hopefully it's got their pre-printed information on as to who they are. Some contact information. That is how we identify folks on the course. So, for instance, if you're a medical station and you have somebody that's needing a poop out wagon, a sag wagon, use their bib number. That information's in here, by the way. By the way, did everybody pick up the big comp plan? There should be a comp plan. There should be a 6-page document that starts out about the auxiliary communications. If you were at a medical station, hopefully you picked up the additional document. Did everybody pick up or make sure before you leave that you pick up a lanyard and a credential? There are shirts for everybody, and everybody that's out in the field needs to have a safety vest as well. There are some policies from the marathon that you need to be aware of. These are all in your booklet. You're required to, we're working for the marathon, for the memorial. So we need to adhere to their policies. You will be issued a shirt. You need to wear it, please, with your vest on over it and your credentials. Weapons are not permitted out on while you're out working for the marathon.
Is the Motorola talk to you weapon?
Can be.
Quite effective too.
If you need to carry your radio gear, you are allowed to put those in a backpack and take them to your station. If you do so, I understand that backpacks aren't allowed out on the course. So, but you as a worker, we acknowledge that you have gear to carry. If you have a backpack, it is subject, please, to inspection. Law enforcement security has to ensure the safety of the force and all the people working and all of our runners. So if they see you with a backpack, please, oh, I'm sorry, Mark. Sorry for those of you online. Hello. Yes, I wondered. If you have a backpack and law enforcement comes up and says, may I look in that?
Yes.
Number one, if you have a backpack, you better have your credential on. That's what they're for. Number two, they'll come up and they're not going to be rough and tough with you. Sir, may I peek inside your backpack? We need to make sure that those officers do understand that we are amateur radio operators and we carry lots of things that look really strange, like coax and wires and radios, battery packs. They'll be okay with that. Again, that's part of what your credentials for. They see that you're an auxiliary communicator. You tell them that you're a ham radio operator. You're assigned to medical station number 12, which is hopefully where you're at. And yes, by all means, take a look. And by the way, did you know that this is an ICOM 705? You know, it's really cool.
Not a way to start to be friends with them.
So.
But also they may band it. Band meaning put a colored band on it, meaning it's been checked for that color that day, whatever.
Thank you. Again, please be cheerful about it. You know, there's no reason to say, well, you can't be in my pack. Because I can assure you, if you take that attitude, you will be removed. That's safe to say, Lieutenant.
Question of that, ice chest for the relay stations? Would be okay if we had a nice chest in full of water and drinks? Good picture.
If you have someone from the media or someone who's doing media type stuff, hey, can I come up and interview you? Please refer them to the Marathon's public information. If there are modifications, cancellations, delays, those will be determined by the race director. That information will be transmitted back to net controls. And by the way, you're stuck with me as your net control this year. I'm sorry. That's what it is. I will be in the Oklahoma City Regional Multi-Agency Coordination Center. Did I get that right? Yeah. The RMAC is what we call it. Embedded with the rest of the communications folks. The leadership will be out on in the war room. So that information will get directed to myself. It'll also get directed to Paul Deaver. And Paul will be embedded in the medical side. He is EMSA for us this year. So he'll hear the information as well, and we will provide that to you through all of our nets. And I will make sure I get it to you guys covered ice and water. Okay, good. Okay. Please understand if that information is brought out that there's some sort of delay, some sort of cancellation, some sort of emergency message. If you choose to pass that information on, which will be part of your jobs, please use the exact wording. Don't make an interpretation. How many of y'all have played the old communications game where I come over here and I tell Monty, you know, a sentence, and then he tells Bev, and then she tells Lucian, and then goes all the way around the room. By the time it makes it back to me, the message is completely different than that was to start with. So please, please, please don't interpret things, use the wording involved. Which is always good practice for emergency communications anyway. Please follow the guidance given to you by Net Control or the EOC or the MERC or Water Ice. For those of you at medical stations, that may involve changing the color of your flag. I know last year that there were a couple of medical stations that didn't understand that they are supposed, part of their job, their job in a medical station, when you help set it up, is to erect the flag in whatever color of the hour it is. So if there's a change, you may change that color. Medical procedures, if you have someone needing medical assistance, call EMSA on the primary net. Paul will answer you, and he will pass that along to the professional dispatchers from EMSA, and they will provide you with medical assistance. If it is a life-threatening emergency, you use the word emergency, all other traffic on that net will come to an immediate halt. The emergency will take precedence over any other traffic other than another emergency, or some traffic related to that particular emergency. If it's a non-life-threatening problem, but you still need medics, still, again, call EMSA. And as you can see on here, you need to provide where you're at, nature of the problem, the bib number, and if you can, some physical and clothing descriptions, simply so that when the medics get there, they know who they're looking. Are there any questions, Mark?
Wording between those two, do you use the word emergency to differentiate the two?
Absolutely. You have a medical emergency versus just
Medical aid versus emergency.
Yes. There's also a third category there is just somebody that needs watching. That can go, again, you can call the net control rather than EMSA on that one. We're both on the same net, so one of the two of us will answer you. This is somebody who you're seeing struggle. They haven't asked for medical, they haven't stopped, they haven't, but we've all seen them, or how many of you are brand new, by the way, to the marathon this year? We're so glad you're here. But those of you who've worked it before, you know that occasionally we see people that they're struggling. They, we don't need to call them an ambulance, but if you want to call it in, that we'll pass that along to the next medical station so that they can kind of be watching for that same person. Everybody good on medical stuff? Question?
Yeah, not a question really, but we've always been advised to let the medical, if you're at a med tent, let the medical people make the decisions, not us. Okay, since we're not really qualified to call it one way or the other. And so check with the med people. Should I pass this along to the net for the next station to be on the lookout? If they say yes, they call it in.
We are at the medical stations as communicators.
Right.
We are not there as medical personnel. Thank you.
So relay stations and medical stations are not always at the same location.
That is true.
So I have sent people, send the word ahead to med stations before.
Okay. I don't know whether we're going to need this yet this weekend or not. I suspect it'll probably be more on the severe weather side that we're watching. However, there is a temperature warning system in place. That's where your flag colors come into play. When you get to your station, unless we've told you otherwise that morning during check-in, raise the white flag. There are changes, if there are changes, I will advise you, or Paul will advise you, please change your flag to red or black, or whatever the colors. Make sure you do that if you're at a relay exchange point, particularly if there is a status that involves either stopping the race or cancel, you need to stay right here. Everybody needs to go out and start catching people, in addition to changing the color of your flag. If that happens, I will do a roll call of every station that we have. Please answer me. I know that sounds simple, but please answer me. And that way I know that you're clear on the information.
Should relay stations have flags as well?
I don't believe they do,
No,
but
we don't. I was just thinking about that.
Something they can take into consideration for future.
okay, so here's how the day will go. Now I'm talking mostly here Sunday. Saturday is a whole different thing. Sunday, the ice and water folks report when? When do you want them?
I was planning on, are we still doing the initial check-ins?
The roll call check-in will be
Okay,
done out of the RMAC.
okay,
So you will have just your folks.
I mean, we were only set up at 4 a.m., but we did the check-ins, so I don't know, either later.
Up to you.
Of course.
You tell me, when do the trucks go out?
I'll be ready to go by 4, set up and on there.
Okay,
After a while, they start shutting down the road, so we need to be out of there well before.
yeah, and by the way, everybody needs to look at their very first bullet point, please.
Is there parking for us available at each of the relay stations?
Yes. Should be, and particularly if you get there early enough.
At 4 a.m.
See bullet point number 1.
Yeah, yes, but understand, traffic will be, you've got 20,000 people coming downtown.
And even more coming to watch.
That's the runners. That's all of the volunteers. You know, there's 60 of us. That doesn't count all of the, Lynn, how many volunteers do you have?
Nearly 3,000.
That's a lot of cars coming downtown.
Every relay station is a little bit different. You'll have to talk to the lead to a relay station to find out where you can park at that particular station.
He is the lead. I'll bring on him with that.
If you need help, let me know. I've done this the last 2 years.
Okay, so, yes, sir.
Last year, they did not tell us, we did not find out till the last minute, but the location we're supposed to be at, they painted,
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
okay.
And we'll do a teaser here. Some of the med station locations have changed just a little bit, and we have an extra one this year. So don't just assume that because you worked number 17 for 20 years, that it's in the same place that it's always been. All right, so if you are at a position where you are lucky enough to have a second or a second and third person. Some of the med stations have 2, some only have 1. The relay stations all have 3. I realize that's down 1, I get it, but the lead person at all those is responsible for your group. So if you're at Aubrey's relay station, he's got 2 other operators. And when you get to your relay station, check in with Aubrey. And then at some point, starting at 6, I will be doing a roll call of every position we have. Not every person. Make sure you check in, and then at some point, I'll call relay station number, you said two. Relay station number two, Aubrey will call back and say, I'm relay station number two, and my crew's all here.
And somebody at each station ought to be monitoring you at all times.
Absolutely,
Even though the other team members are on different frequency.
absolutely. Every location needs to monitor the primary net. That way you get the color of the change in status quicker. And if there's a problem, you get me quicker. Make sure everybody that's a lead, do a quick safety briefing. Briefing your assignment and operations. Most of you guys that are leads have done this before. Again, I will start a roll call on the main net, 6 o'clock. And Carl, Gary, I'll just check in with you guys. Because you'll already have your crews out by the time I do the calls. By the way, last year there was a little bit of confusion on this that we don't need, when we do the roll call check-in, I don't need to know the status of your medical personnel. Because a lot of them won't be there yet.
You can see.
Yeah. Yeah, all we're concerned about is checking in our own folks. Now, if the race has started and you're getting runners and you haven't got your medical staff, you probably need to call and let me know. But that shouldn't be the case.
I've added to that, I've been at 20-30 plus in the past, and the half marathoners are coming by, the medical people still encourage because the half marathoners come so quickly. So it's not unheard of to be sitting there at a med station by yourself.
And hopefully that's the kind of thing the administration, the ops manager up there is listening to from past input, because that shouldn't happen. I mean, it needs to be covered. But those are the kinds of things that they need to know about, and hopefully, part of what's going on is paying attention to some of those. Thank you.
And I have a list in the EOC of all of the medical personnel that are assigned to each of the med stations, complete with phone numbers. So, we've got 2 or 3 ways to check and see what's going on. All right, so what do you bring? Depends on your assignment, but if you're at a med station, if you have the opportunity to bring a mobile radio on power supply with an antenna, do so. More powerful, better antenna. More powerful, better antenna. If you choose to use a handheld, make sure you have charged up, make sure you have an extra battery, and please, Mark, is this your radio here? Now touch it.
Yes.
Please.
Pretty expensive.
Does that look like a stock antenna?
Yeah.
Is that a better antenna than stock antenna? Hopefully.
It's stop on some about things.
The better antenna you have, the more likely you're going to be able to hit the repeaters. Right. So if you have the opportunity to use the better antenna, please do so. If you're at a med station or somewhere you're accessing a repeater, high power, please. If you're at a relay station, low power will be just fine. It'll be low power simplex, and you're only talking.
You need an external microphone though. That's other microphone.
Sort of wisdom there.
The spotters need a microphone. If you are running the relay station, you will mobile or handheld radio capable. PA system.
I believe there's information on that in your packet. Um, be prepared. Know what the weather forecast is. It's going to be cold, bring a jacket. If it's going to be hot, have sunscreen. You are allowed water and snacks and beverages. Coolers and backpacks are allowed, and subject to being looked at. Again, be cheerful about it. On your equipment, headsets, earpieces are suggested. Because who was at the Classen about somewhere south of Ken Kelly's at 49. There was a big old band going when I dropped by. That ring bells. Okay, well, I may not be here. And I can tell you that even with my headset, I couldn't hear a thing. So bring a headset, bring an earpiece so you can hear over the, a lot of these stations have lots of crowds. And that's a good thing. And they cheer people on. And like I said, at this one, there was a band. Ken, didn't you have something going on at yours? Where's Ken? Didn't you have something going on at yours that was noisy? Cheerleaders. Cheerleaders, okay.
I want to move.
Out of their relay station.
Water station at 13th and Chartel last year was just loud and not anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. Be prepared. It will be a noisy environment. It's going to be sitting in your shack, talking in your nice, quiet environment. Yes, sir.
Speaking of which, when you make an announcement about flag changes or other important things like that, please do it 3 or 4 times so that those of us who are blocked by bans, not quite having, talking to the medical personnel, whatever, have time to listen to it, hear it, and repeat it word for word so that we don't have to make up something because we didn't hear it.
Very good. Thank you. In a previous lifetime, I was a professional 911 dispatcher. So please, if I get a little short over the radio, just remind me that I'm not dispatching police and fire, although sometimes, we get short with that too. And in a previous lifetime, Paul did a lot of professional dispatching in Oklahoma City Fire, so he's used to dealing with deaf firemen, right? How many firemen do I have in the room? Ooh. Okay. How many cops do I have in the room?
Former lifetime.
Yeah, either way. How many medics do I have? Okay. I pick on everybody, so sorry. Sorry, not sorry. All right, timeline. This is on Saturday, 7 o'clock-ish. And those working the kids finishing corral can be there a little bit later. Understand parking is going to not be fun. So the earlier you get there, the better you park. On Sunday, it's a little bit earlier. Roll call will begin at 6 o'clock. At 6:15-ish, we will have the 168 seconds of silence that's observed out on the start line. Assuming that we receive that information at net control, I will also pass that along, and we will have radio silence during that. You can see the times things start. I should have added, there's another couple of things that for runners that haven't, at mile 20 by noon, they also get transported. We will demobilize each position as you're finished. Now, we're gonna have Clay. And we'll be trailing in a vehicle, and hopefully he and or the police that are trailing will tell you this is the end. If it's the end, demobilize.
What's that? What look like? Training meetings.
It depends on the weather.
Yeah, it depends on the weather. It may be my motorcycle. It may be my Jeep, or it may be my county's expedition.
Very likely, he will stop and say, hey, Lyndall.
It will have lots of antennas.
Last year, we had a lot of med stations shutting down before the end of the run. They just gave up and said, oh, there's nobody here, but there were still trailers. Has that been fixed for this year?
But they shouldn't shut down until like the police car goes by and says that they can shut down. They're not supposed to shut down before that.
Okay.
And that is in their instructions that
Yeah.
they are being given, because I've seen it.
And that's been one of those feedbacks that Captain George is pretty adamant about, is that they are the ones with the official word about, we're done, you can close down at this point and move on. Part of the value of Clay being at the tail end is as a marker, because they are running ahead to tell the next med station, or they're talking to these people as that, and not keeping a good tail end Charlie kind of position. And so, that,
We'll reiterate that we have a meeting on Wednesday and we'll have Captain George reiterate that they are not supposed to compete with themselves.
Yeah.
Last run goes by that area. And
That stations are still to announce when Fail and Charlie passes by to keep everybody on.
The way you should do that is you should call net control and go, Clay has gone past me, we're demobilizing. That way, we have accountability in our own system that we know that you are leaving.
You want us to tell you that.
Please.
And then also report when you're down. When you're gone.
Yeah. Yeah, we just need to know when you're checking out, basically.
Okay.
On.
But there will be people still on the course. It always has been.
yeah, right.
And, you know, the best thing is you're close to water and ice, encourage them to leave stuff out for them. Maybe some of your stuff at a med tent, put it out there by the curb, whatever. And, while you're tearing down at least, okay, because there'll still be people, they've already been advised that they're on their own. And, there won't be any, support for them, right? But they still want to finish if they can.
No support, no liability. It
Right.
is a big deal for the marathon director and the staff to draw that line. And they go to other marathons and look closely at just that. And you were just at Boston, right?
I've never not waited till he went by in at 47th and Claxton and at the Chartel location. And he always had the last person, so mile 24. So I don't know what. That's weird.
The last guy,
Yeah, I've always waited till he went by.
yeah,
Clay loses the race.
Every year. And I don't get a t-shirt.
did you hear me picking on firemen?
There's a burn for some reason, besides temperature in here.
That's okay.
I apologize to everyone. It's, the air got shut off at 7 o'clock. And so I'm sorry, it's trying to get some air circulating throughout the building. So it's in here. I'll keep our working on it without the show. Thank you.
Okay, comms plan, you should all have a copy of that. It is unchanged from last year, other than we've added one more contingency repeater, that's the 7.6 machine. So if you've had it programmed We have the comms plan program with the radio and past, add that one. That is another backup.
Number 6.
Yes.
Okay.
Beyond that, everything's the same. There is a correction to both where you see the net control number here and also in your stapled packet. The phone number into net control is 605-8955. 605-8955.
A suggestion.
David, that 8938, is it somewhere that we get answered by somebody?
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody. Okay.
Gibson.
Lemonade. Yeah. So these are all numbers in the RMAC. So they've done some real some remodel. By the way, cool looking place you guys have. Go to work. It's fixing them. Okay, so everybody have a new number? You know, it's scratched out in both places, both on your comms plan and on the staple packet. Probably on the last page of your packet. No.
I suggest when relay teams, you talk with your team, have a PL tone ready in case you have any interference. So I'll have a station ready so you can switch to having a tone instead of having no tone to cut out interference.
That would also mean you have to know how to program your radio on the fly.
That's why we have, I have my team program without tone and with tone beforehand. I also use my, UHF as crossband to main net at relay 3.
So you're the reason I have that crossband stuff.
HT will not reach from our target.
Okay, that's fine.
As long as the generator doesn't mess it up this year, but I have a battery attack instead this year.
Okay. You will see my cell phone number is in there. So, hey, if you need to call me sometime between now and marathon, you have my cell phone number down. And I will have it with me in the army. Please call me, don't call John Lund. Anything else on comps plan? Okay, event communications, everything's directed net. Please address all your traffic to the net control, just like any other directed net. If you need to talk direct to somebody else, please ask. We're probably not going to say no. Medical emergencies, be sure and call EMSA direct. Be talking to Paul, we're in the same place, but be talking to Paul direct rather than me. Because we're doing a cool event that supports 25,000 people, does not mean that you don't have to follow the FCC rules. So please do. Please ID. Those of you at relay stations, yes, when it gets hot and heavy, you don't have to ID every transmission as if it's continuous, but you do at least every 10 minutes.
On sign station.
Call sign
Legal.
for operator every time.
Be legal. Be legal.
Galen, for those calling out, yes, they say, I don't know. But since they're on, handheld at most power, in this case, FCC is best for giving. Give your call sign when you can. You don't have to worry about them getting it or anything.
Okay, does that say that in the rules? Show me in writing.
It does not say that in the rules, but,
Well, but again, if you can't ID at least once every 10 minutes, come on.
Slip it in.
Slip it in there.
If you're talking for 10 minutes, let me hold you.
Well, again, that's low power direct just within your,
Just within the relay.
within your own relay station. It's not talking to anybody outside. I cringe at having to say this, but I will say it anyway. Remember, this is the same as emergency communications. Keep it short, concise. Say what you need to say, but don't drag it out. Don't write you. No chit chat. You know, we're here supporting official communications.
Yeah, I have a question. You guys are probably all seasoned, but just status of my curiosity, what would how would a person how would a station break traffic for an emergency? Calling IMSON name that, what would that sound like? Is there a forward break, emergency traffic from?
Or either that or MSNet. This is WX5MR with emergency traffic.
Break.
Break will work. Thank you, Bill. By the way, I should have introduced some folks here. Tell us who you are and why you're here.
Bill Scott, I'm the assistant chair of the ComU committee.
What's the ComU committee?
The communications unit committee is a
Public safety.
public safety thing. It's a subdivision of this thing called the SIGME, the statewide interoperability governing body. And so Galen is also on this body that I just mentioned, and he's our representative here to do good things. And I'm here on John Love's behalf to be eyes and ears, pulse, and also to thank you on behalf of Dickie Cassingham and Sean Douglas from Oklahoma Homeland Security for making the OKC program a real thing in Oklahoma. So we're doing good things. It's all because you guys volunteered your time and do a little bit of training and do some boring ICS courses. So
And what is it you do in real life?
in real life, you really don't want to know, but the most important part and where that interface meets with you guys, I do emergency communications support on behalf of the Oklahoma Military Department to state and local and federal agencies. When good things are happening like this, or bad things happen like, you name it.
Okay, Dave, tell us who you are and why you're up.
Lieutenant David Storer, Office of Emergency Management of the Deputy Ian, replaced Brian Taylor last year.
For the city of Oklahoma City.
Yes, for the city of the city.
And you have someone else here with you, right?
I'm Kevin Long. I'm the GIS specialist for the Oklahoma City Office of Emergency Management.
Lucian Jones, you want my spiel now?
Oh, no, David,
Keep it short, keep it concise.
Yeah, right there. No chit chat. There you go. Am I supposed to be in front of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Lucian Jones, KD5 LPB. Yes, I'm a ham. Retired Oklahoma City Police. I've been involved with the Oklahoma City Marathon every year, beginning with ham radio and public safety radio. John Love, that they talked to, has the job I retired from as manager of the Oklahoma City 911 Center and very involved in city communications interoperability stuff. But my role with the marathon.
President of the state, or the chairman of the state common committee that bills.
I'm a member of that committee. The committees are boring. Anyway. My role has changed over time from being hands-on involved in the amateur radio and public safety communications to now my actual role in the incident command structure is that I'm what's called in the FEMA terms an AREP, an agency representative. So I'm at the command post and I represent the race director and the staff to the incident commanders. When those kinds of decisions and updates and so forth are going on. Of course, we also have a police dispatcher, a tactical dispatcher, with the race director. So those comms are very good. This year, I just want to comment that this year and the last, there have been some changes. And some of those have not been taken well. Maybe some weren't done exactly well, but the bottom line is there's been some change. It had to happen in order for law enforcement and the marathon director and staff to have this kind of support continue on. It's kind of a coincidence and kind of not that this terminology that probably a few years ago you never heard, that's auxiliary communications. That's a program that is taught. It's a 20-hour course for amateur radio people that are affiliated and supporting emergency management and public safety. The structure that you're working under is a public safety incident command structure. And that has to happen in order for this to go forward. Even though you're not affiliated with an emergency management organization, you're working under that structure for this marathon. You're a volunteer for the Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon. Thank you for working through this change. You may not be the largest turnout this year of amateur radio supporting a public event in Oklahoma. You're one of the largest still, of course, but you're going to be the core. You're going to be the core of how this works going forward. So just again, thank you. Work with us as we go forward on this, and it's very appreciated. I know from what the police command says, what the director says, it's very much appreciated. Your role is very important. Thanks.
Okay, so Lucian is a representative of the marathon and public safety. All right, so back to communications, things that we should already know how to do. Number one is you listen before. You know, we laugh. We have at least one, and I suspect there's several brand new hands. I know that. When did you get your license? A couple weeks ago. Did you know? And your call is?
Thanks for being.
Good idea, please.
Backwards. Who said it phonetic? Okay, so even though, yeah, we should know how to do this, we have new folks, and we have people that maybe forget once in a while. So just remember, don't chit chat, listen before you key up. And when you key up, press the button, take a breath, and then talk. Take another breath, and then release. That way you don't clip off the front part of your message or the back part of your message. As I said earlier, I was a professional dispatcher for 27 years. I can assure you the cops and the firemen do it all the time. Woo! Oh, wait, what did you say? Because I missed the first three words. Let's show them who the true professional communicators are in the world. It's you guys. Against it. Listen before you talk. Good radio technique. Be free talk. And okay. Check your radios occasionally, particularly if you notice, oh wait, I haven't heard anything in a while. Why is that? Have you bumped the channel? Has battery died?
Always feed down and stuff.
I was that guy last year. So, you know, that's why I raised my guilty. It does happen.
If you're using an external microphone,
That's me too.
but you use an external microphone. There you go. So you made a,
Oh, it
there you go, Dan.
the Yaesu, FT60 external hand mic thing. Just take it all, it's not worth having. Headphones, yes. The external hand mic, speaker, just pull it right out the side of the radio. Doesn't matter. So don't use it. I'm just advising you.
Have a spare radio, have a spare battery. If you're at a relay station, I don't care if you think your Kenwood's superior, if the battery goes dead, you're getting my spare bow thing.
So please charge the batteries, right? That's what I got out.
I have no regrets, Kenwood died.
Move along.
Yep. Again, there's a myriad of things that can go wrong. So if you haven't heard any traffic, try and figure out why. Good operating technique. Oh, the external mic where I was headed with that is, if you have one and you choose to sit down, make sure you don't sit on your mic.
I didn't sit on the mic.
The net controllers from last year will tell you that every year somebody sits on a microphone and dead keys. And by the way, where's my fireman? Oh, yeah, you're here. So I cannot tell you how many years I've heard a dead key come on, and the next thing is somebody's got an open mic. Who's the one person that cannot hear that? Person with a dead key, because he's transmitting, not receiving. Heck, we'll move on.
You hear it, it's not you. Look at everybody around you. Check this.
Very good. Thank you, Mark, for taking the pictures. You're welcome. No, I'm serious. Yeah, we need to do that. Ice and water operations. Net control will be at the service center, warehouse. My net controllers are, wave your hands, thank you. You'll be using the 7-9 repeater. There will be 4 vehicles out delivering supplies to locations on the course. You said, Dave, that everybody has APRS.
We did last year, yes.
Okay. Who are the other ice and water assignees? Okay, you have APRS capability? Okay. Anybody else, ice and water that's here? Okay. And your demobilization, you'll come back in whenever your net controllers say demobilize command. Medical net, the net control is located in the RMAC. Oxcom is also in the MERC, the RMAC. We will have a professional dispatcher from Midwest City between the two of us, and she will be monitoring everything that's going on, and if there's something that needs to be passed along, say from me to the police dispatch, she'll be doing that, or if they hear something on the police side, channel that Paul and I need to hear, she's our liaison. She was with us last year, worked with net control, doing the logging. She is a longtime dispatcher. I don't know, she's probably got more years than I did. Very good dispatcher. She's also working on her incident technical dispatcher. So, we'll be on the A2 machine. Who do we have here from El Capa? The A2,
It has been good recently. Just make sure you key up, take a breath, because the repeater will require it.
okay,
And we're gonna do repeater maintenance today. I don't know if they got into that.
that's kind of why I understood there was maybe some potential issues with wind or something on it.
It was a little staticky Thursday, but readable.
Okay,
Private.
that's why we have contingencies. And that's why you should have them programmed in your radio beforehand. There's 16 med stations along the route. We'll have Clay in the trailing vehicle, we'll put an APRS in the lead vehicle, so our next controllers see where people are at. Demobilize your med stations like Clay. You first one's Mark, and whoever's got 2, 3, and 4, you may not get to yet. Okay, this is fun. Medical station operations. Again, some of the places have changed just a little bit. Number 2, there should be a X, red X on the graph where it goes. You may or may not find your equipment there. I'm led to believe it's supposed to be where you're at. Sometimes it is, sometimes you gotta go on a cruiser.
Park is really hard.
Yep.
Go the day before.
Yeah, check it out ahead of time. And when you check it out, check to make sure you can get A2. You will be responsible for setting up the equipment there. So you direct the tent, post the flag, do other setups. If you are unable, if you're by yourself, or if you got a second person, you're unable to do that, wait until your medical people get there and have them help you. And they have been advised that. I know we had an issue. It was Mr. Underwood with us. Oh, okay. You had an issue last year being by yourself, as I recall, and had trouble. We had, so, but if that happens this year, that's, you let the kids that are coming to the Med Station help you. And I have somebody with you this year, and he's very good. Questions on that? Sledgehammer. Mark has suggested you take a sledgehammer with you or some sort of mallet, because most of you have tent stakes. Sometimes they're easy to put in, sometimes maybe not so much, right?
And it's like in pliers, zip ties, long ones. You need perhaps to secure the pole to the tent, whatever, but you need zip ties and bring a wire cutter along with your wires. Carry it down.
Probably some duct tape too would be good.
Tape could work as well, yeah. But
Okay.
really one of those two, for
Huh?
sure.
For those online, he suggests making sure that you also bring zip ties and perhaps duct tapes and a pair of wire cutters so you can cut the zip ties.
And a hammer.
And a sledgehammer.
So
Or a
we
hammer.
do have the potential for some severe weather Saturday night. It's like we had a few years ago. Some supplies, tent supplies, materials was washed, blown down. Be advised of that.
That's a treasure hunt.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing, the med tents. Set the medical, supplies away, let the medical people unpack those and arrange them like they want them. They'll want the table set up, the way they like it, and, we shouldn't do it. Another thing is the system and looking up and down the course with people struggling. That's important. The last 3 med stations, try to, if you need more ice, if it's warm, hot, it's gonna be, they're gonna run out of ice. It takes the ice people a long time to get in there. A lot of times, they can't park real close to you. They have to tote the ice, maybe bags 2, 3 blocks sometimes. Haven't been down there in a while, but it does happen. So, keep the people praising you of what they need and be sure to call them so they can get it to you.
Everybody good with hearing that?
He's kind of brought up that painted that curve yet, and also too. the
And it's
wonderful
subjective
volunteers
completely.
they have, last year at dark 30, the little volunteer staying out there by the curb did not know where a medical location was. I was going to. She had a man, but she did not know where it was.
No. Okay. Yes, sir.
Last year during the event, usually the people on the bicycles, as they would go by us at 15 miles an hour, would be yelling things at us. Like numbers or something. Can we just talk a little bit about, there you go. Okay. And they were yelling, sometimes they were numbers, sometimes they were words that.
Okay. And maybe they need to report something in as they zip by you. But those of you who've been doing this a long time know that the med stations, particularly toward the end of the race, you know, they would, you'd be looking for the lead in each of the categories and relay that in to the finish line. We don't have anybody at the finish line anymore. That job is now public safety. So that is not necessary to do it. And let me go back. Yeah, monitor the runners, look for issues. You need IMSA or SAG wagon. Call, system tear down. And demobilize only when OCPD or Clay tell you. Okay, you notice we haven't talked anything about SAG wagons this year. That's because we aren't doing it. The SAG wagons, the poop out vans, whatever you wish to call them, are being operated this year by the medical folks. That's probably a good change. That way, if they get there and as they start out, somebody's having more medical problem than they thought, the medics are already there. So we still, if you need to call for one, you still call us. And then Paul will have IMSA dispatch the SAG wagons. Questions on that? That is a change. What is the SAG? That's the poop out van. That's for runners that have been off more than they can chew or have some sort of blister or cramp or issue that they don't want to finish.
What type of vehicle would that be?
Typically it's a van. I do
Do we know what exact wagon are?
Chevy, but I'm not
But
sure what exactly.
It's not an IMSA bus, it's a van.
Not an IMSA bus.
There's probably gonna be SUVs again. I think SUVs the last 3 years.
Yeah, they're regular vehicles.
Yeah.
They are not ambulances.
Will they have Memorial Marathon markings on the side so that they are?
Yeah, they'll have like official vehicle decals and stuff.
All vehicles on the course have, right? Okay, again, lead runners, not necessary. Relay exchanges. Who are all the relay folks? Is there anybody of you that have, okay, so we have newbies. So what happens is the relay races are the same course, but they're run by 5 different people. So they'll start out and the first will run 4, 5, 6 miles, whatever it is, to the first relay exchange. When they get there, they're going to hand their timing chip to their buddy, their partner, and he'll run the second leg, and then so on. So typically what happens there, correct me if I'm wrong, guys have done this before. Some of our folks will be upstream just a little bit, looking for relay runners. They'll have crimson bibs on this year. And you'll look for a number and you'll say, okay, and you call on the radio and say, okay, runner 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is in bib, which will then go over the PA system up there. So the partner knows, oh, hey, that's me. I'm ready.
They hear their number, they can come out of the crowd and jump into the street. All 5 runners have the same number. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Just throw out a comment here. Oftentimes, especially in the first relay, oftentimes some people will be on a relay team, but they'll also be running the half themselves. You just want to watch for that.
Make sure that you call the relay team member bin out and not there. Like, people do that all the time. They'll be wearing a half marathon as well as the first leg of the relay.
So you want to make sure that you're calling out the number that's on the crimson bib.
Do not step out into the streets, stay on the curb, do not step out in front of runners. If it's a hot day, they may take off their shirt, they may take off their jacket, and may not realize they've taken their bib off when they've done that. If we miss them because their bib is not visible, that is not on us. They just let them go on by. Don't step out in front of someone just trying to read their bib number. Let them run on by if you can't read their bib.
So when you get there, you'll need to assist the vendor in setting up the generators and the PA systems. So on. Any further questions? So who are the leads? There's one. Aubrey is relay 2, right? Do I have my other? We missed one. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Number 4. All right. Or maybe it's 4 that
We have 4 relays.
right. There are 4.
They're on the 3 leads here.
Okay. All right, disoriented lost runners, yeah. Not really our problem, just for your general knowledge. Sometimes they miss the split between where the full and the half go this way. Some of them get tunnel vision and run right on past the relay exchange. Or some of those maybe continue on for the half. All sorts of things. I have a question for you. Do we need to advertise the link to what safety app?
Yeah, if ever you want to, have that information,
I wasn't sure since there's phone numbers.
sorry.
Since there's phone numbers, is that still
Yeah,
okay?
phone numbers are still in there.
Okay. First of all, so now you need to do 2 things. Number 1, download this app. And turn notifications on, because that way, if there's messaging goes out from the RMAC or emergency, you will get that on your device. And I will send out another link. Those of you who've done this in the past know you've gotten a little booklet that have the flag colors and the structure and things. There's not printed versions of that this year. It's all online. So I will get that to you.
Real quick, do you recommend signing into the app as a participant or as a viewer, as an audience person?
Either one will get the information to you.
Yeah, I signed in as a viewer, but either way. Okay, once we're done, we need to know, the planners, both on the Oxcom side and on the marathon side, need to know what went right, what was, yeah, okay, that worked, but it could be better, and things didn't go so well. And ideas and suggestions. So at 1:15-ish, we will start a debriefing session at the Service Center, 5th and Hudson. Why I didn't check my slide. Are we gonna have food?
Yes.
Okay, so there'll be food there.
I talked to my boss today.
Okay, so we will have food. Yeah. Courtesy of Clay and one lucky winner will receive, at least one will receive an HT from John Love. Reminder that when we're at the debriefing, everything needs to be positive, presented positively. No arguing, no threatening, not confrontational, it needs to be constructive. And Mr. Monitor,
Same as this.
cool. We will try and make sure to have this same virtual option that we're broadcasting this on tonight for the here, because I know that particularly you work med station number 1. You're done by what time?
9 o'clock, he's
Yeah. Do you think he's gonna hang around for 4 hours?
sure, there's right here somewhere.
Not even your volunteer shirt.
Actually, you might have to this year. if he comes up this up.
Yeah, I'm usually there, so we'll set.
Yeah, I thought there's one of those little where you drink beer, Lucian.
Oh, yeah, a lot of Baptists in the crowd. Yeah, okay.
And we also know that there will be some of us that can't get there by 1:15 because we're still, we're either working the last stations or we can't get there because of traffic or whatever.
You want to give that URL?
Yeah, it's w5nor.org/Zoom. And I will send that out to everyone. All right, last slide, last constructive slide. As Lucian alluded to, there's lots of people that have come before us, laid the groundwork for what we're doing. Things change over the course of time. Your radios have, right? What radios were using 20 years ago? Radios have changed, techniques have changed, procedures have changed, but the mission remains the same: to support those who are running and to support the staff that's allowing them to run. So we want to make sure that we thank Mike Rocky, Tom Webb. There was some that Paul Cloud probably, who else? There's probably more than I could ever name. And number 2, thank you. You've given up your time to be here tonight. And you're giving up time on Sunday and some of you on Saturday. So at this time, thank you. Be calm. We'll handle it. Be sure you read the comm plan. And at this time, we'll go questions. Comments, additions.
WMS. I didn't want y'all to think that I wasn't one of y'all. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, no, you're a
Should have
free,
led with this.
you're a free call, get out.
Hang on, yes. Saturday morning, you're doing what position?
Kids marathon. Yeah, we're meeting for the kids marathon. Hold the slide back.
Kids around. Yeah,
I was had to be there at 7 a.m., but where?
yeah. If you're working kids marathon, you probably don't really need to be there at 7.
Parking's gonna be a beast.
But yes, parking will be the issue. So the earlier you get there, closer you get there.
Downtown, but
It's Scissor Tail Park. North side.
It's actually, it's like the same finish line as everyone else, so it's on Oklahoma City Boulevard. And right before Hudson is where the finish line, and then the crowd kind of is between Hudson and Harvey, a little bit past Harvey.
Do we have someone will be meeting?
So we do have some parking maps, I think I sent them on the email yesterday, that might be helpful to send out to all them to.
I will do
It'll
that.
tell you how to get in, if you come before 7 a.m. or after 7 a.m., how to get to the parking lot.
Okay.
I, from times past, don't have this problem up north, but down, going to downtown, I don't know how it applies to Saturday, but certainly applies to Sunday. The streets are already blocked off, say coming off Classic, headed for Hudson, Kipton, Hudson, whatever. They have the streets blocked with barriers. You show them this, they're gonna still not let you in. Can you please instruct those people to let the volunteers in? Because there's,
No,
why?
once we shut that street down, we do our sweeps. And that street is shut down, period.
I'm telling you, coming
Okay,
off
hang
Classic.
on just a second.
No,
The sweep is what?
The sweep is for bombs, chemical, biological weapons. So once we start letting cars back in, it's contaminated now. We have to stop and do everything over, and that would potentially delay it. So once we shut it down and we do our sweeps, it's done.
And your map also showed how to get
Yeah.
to some of that, so that should, I will send that map
I
out.
don't know if that map will help that, because it's more like finish line parking and things. But if you look on, the marathon map on our website, it has the course openings and closings, and it kind of gives you an approximate time of when the streets are closed.
Well, I understand, but at 5:30 in the morning, the streets are closed.
Yeah.
Okay, that means the people in the last few med tents are gonna have to walk 8 to 10 blocks to get in. And if that's the way you want it, that's the way it is.
How long does it take you to sweep the entire, there's what, 27 miles basically of
Overall, about 2.5 hours.
But somebody starts before midnight.
Yeah.
Okay, and everyone understands the public safety implications about why. Somebody could yank you on the head, take your badge, and, you know, go into those swept areas and it cause havoc.
I'm not arguing with you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the
Right.
folks that are
It is,
in those
it is,
down close to downtown, be prepared to hike in because, that's the only way you're gonna get in.
We understand the inconvenience involved and we do appreciate you volunteering despite those inconveniences. Our number one, priority here is public safety. And so I mean, and not even Biden, Biden. The president of the United States, we'd probably open the street for, but bar that, that's it.
Speaking of, has there been any consideration to Grand Point condominiums between Independence and Grand? They are cut off by the marathon route. Is there any consideration on the roadblocks for residents of that apartment complex?
That is when we did the marathon, we didn't change them this year. This is the
It's the
same.
last 2 years.
That's it kind of sucks that we did them, but.
Control them cutting across the marathon, like
Yeah.
spotters.
Unfortunately, we have a lot of apartment complexes. It's not just that. There's some downtown that we have the same issue. There's some perks and privileges to live in downtown. There's also some definite disadvantages.
And there's some churches that have actually, over the years, got a little sacrilegious about the marathon.
We do send mailings out to everyone along the course. I mean, whether or not sometimes just to announce that, there will be some closings and then they can go to our website to see that. And, unfortunately, not all of them do, but, we do try our best to alert all of those along the route of closing.
Yeah, Grand Point condominiums get completely cut off, both
Yeah.
entrances are blocked by the marathon.
yes, sir.
You need access to the area. 14th Street remains open the entire time, Orlando, except for when the mass of the marathon's running. That will allow you in and out. I noticed last year they did the police did a great job of letting people through when they could, but they're not gonna go on. Of course, they just jet them right across and it's two-way but it's possible to get into the route in certain spots.
But to Monty's point, it is difficult. I know that I tried to hit all of the stations last year and I got down to about 12 and I just couldn't go any farther. So yes, I understand. Put the QR code back. I will put the QR code back up. Do we have any other questions? If not, number one, make sure you signed in on the QR code. Number two, make sure you have the right documents, make sure you have credentials, and there are volunteers for you. And thank you for being here.
Yeah, it would do it. It was the problem. I had no free, I included that on free.
I want to do something.
I had the chapter on and people who like you.
Oh, good question. Can you?
They need to contact me. Because it's not just credentials, it's all the rest of it. Well,
Yeah, I said we can't mail the t-shirt. Email.
So you want to come in. Probably an hour and 8 seconds.
Well, it's,
You can't control this slide.
No.
we used to work. Oh, yeah. See, I used to.
Hey, Lucian, by 6 o'clock, I would say.
We're doing.
I just did that for somebody here.
No, I'm not a Boy Scouter, but I mean, I was one.
There you go.
Okay. I won't be able to. I wouldn't be there till.